right, everybody. Welcome to Talk CDL and my co-host, Miss Ruthann.
Hey!
Wow, that was pretty loud. Your chipperness was like blowing my ear out. Okay, I'm going to turn the volume down.
What's that from? Do you remember?
What's that? Was it Zoolander?
No.
Oh, Night at the Roxbury?
Yep, there it goes.
That's pretty sad when you can like make a grunt. And that's like when we were watching the movie last night and I went, you got 10 seconds to get off. Who was that? The Creeper?
That's the Creeper movie.
The Jeepers Creeper movie.
The cat lady.
When the cat lady, when the Creeper was pretending to be a scarecrow in the field and she was talking to Derry and what was the girl's name?
Trish.
Derry and Trisha, after the Creeper attacked them, and she noticed the scarecrow was different. Mm-hmm. And she said, you got 10 seconds to get off.
No, what's funny, she goes, who's with you? And they're like, no one. She goes, that's not my scarecrow.
Yes, we do like Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, and 3, and it's amazing. 4 is coming out. It's already been completed, and I'm actually going to make a video for truck drivers. Were you just doing like Catwoman with your eyes? This is kind of weird.
It is pushing in my sinuses there.
Oh no, I'm actually doing a video for our community because most people don't realize this. Jeepers Creepers 1 was made where?
Here.
Right here in Citrus County, Florida. It started in Ocala, but then it was in Dunellen also.
Yeah.
And the little church, that he was throwing the bodies down was in Ocala. The diner that they went to, that was outside of Ocala. Mm-hmm. And then the famous move where the Creeper's coming around the bend, or the camper. Remember, they had to pass the camper out with the old people in it in the beginning of the movie, and they come around this turn and they pull off, and then all of a sudden you see the Creepers. Exactly, the Creeper car, and then he comes up and starts blowing his horn. That's like just a few miles from where we're at right now, and so I'm gonna do a video right down that lane and show everybody the history of, because I don't think truckers have been down that. I don't think that's a road truckers can go down. I mean, it is a back road.
Yeah, but I just don't know if it's going to look exactly the same anymore.
Well, no, it's not. There's actually a before and after picture, with the way things have grown in.
Okay.
But I'm still gonna make a little video. It's interesting.
You can do it without me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't including you.
Good.
I never include you in videos. So we've got a few things to talk about today.
We do.
Trucking.
Always.
Trucking things. We're going to be talking about the under 21 pilot that they're doing. You've got an article on that. We'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about. I've got a little article that I'm going to give a guy an award today, the Dunce Award, for embezzling off of his employer after he's been dead. It's a trucking company, and we've got a couple other things to talk to. I want to talk about just a little bit about being stuck. This week, Interstate's been shut down all over the place. And in Virginia, there's like a lot of articles of what's going on. People were stuck for like 15 hours in frigid weather. People were out of fuel.
Yeah. I mean, I could have sworn I was like just glancing at stuff, and I could have sworn that the governor of the state was trying to blame truckers for it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really read that really much, but
So you've seen it too. It wasn't just me.
Yeah, everybody wants to blame everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, how do you blame the truckers? But anyways, bottom line is, let's talk about being stuck and what people were doing. It was pretty cool.
You were stuck today.
Oh my gosh, I was stuck in sugar sand, out in the woods hunting. But nobody cares about that.
Well, I just thought it was funny.
I literally had to get underneath my truck and dig it out with my hands. Eddie was with me, my buddy that hunts, and my dad was with. We had took my dad. He's like really old, and I just said, Dad, you sit in the truck and we'll push, and I'll dig, and it just reminded me of being in snow. I couldn't stand it. But anyways, I want to talk about how the truck sales are going, and we'll talk about that here a little bit. And you got some articles you want to talk about? I
do. Some actual real good stuff that's coming up this week that I want to make sure everybody is aware of.
Perfect. And that's good that you're keeping everybody aware, little miss. And the word of the day?
Word of the day.
Do you have a joke for us today?
I do.
So Ruth Ann's got the joke of the day, and you have a little bit of a fun fact today.
I do. I have some interesting facts.
Yeah, some fun facts about. I'll give a look. Can I give them a hint about the movie?
Sure.
Well, it's about the movie Convoy, right?
Yeah.
So you got some fun facts about that, and we're going to get into everything. We're going to start out with which is really cool. I'm going to mention National Carriers as our first sponsor today. The reason I want to mention National Carriers, they had called me the other day, said, "Hey, man, great news. National Carriers was just picked to be one of the finalists in the Carrier's Edge and TCA contest that's every year. They're one of the actual finalists, and that's going to be, I think, like the first week in February, the finalists or the winners are going to be announced. But they're already into the finalists. But what's cool about this award, Ruth Ann, the only way your trucking company can be in this award is by the drivers submitting in entries saying, "Hey, I love this company I'm working for." I'm serious in telling their stories.
Kind of makes me feel like like I don't know, special.
Yeah,
because like we know them.
Oh yeah, well,
makes me feel good.
I don't know that they're famous or anything.
But I still feel good. I mean, that's something that we stand behind, so it makes you feel good when other people recognize it.
Right. So drivers, if you're looking for a job that, they're looking for regional and lease purchase drivers, and if you just graduated school, they've got a couple trainers.
They do have lots of different runs.
And now they're one of the finalists to be best carriers to drive for. It's the first time I ate McDonald's in how long?
Oh, we don't eat them that often.
I call them what? Rectum rockets?
You call them many, many, many things, but we were very short on time today. So.
Oh, yeah. Chicken nuggets. Anyways.
I can't eat them, so.
Let's move on. Do you have something you want to start off with?
I do. I do.
Oh, wait. I didn't even give National's number. Sorry.
I thought you left something out. I did. But when you said you wanted,
we do it a little different. Like a lot of people record their commercials. We do it live.
We do it live.
Yeah, every time. We do it live. So 888-311-7076. Call National Carriers. Tell them that Talk CDL sent you. And go see why they are up for best carrier to drive for this year. Ruth Ann, let's go. What do you got?
Okay. So I have interesting facts about Convoy I wanted to start with. The reason why is because it's just a little tidbit. The truck is actually a 1970 Mack RS 700. Did you know that?
Which one? The one the rubber duck was driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did not know that it was. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. You know what? We're going to watch it again. You've never seen it, I don't think. Have you seen Convoy?
Yeah, long.
We're gonna watch
long time ago.
Me love you long time.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we're gonna watch that again.
Do you remember what color it is?
Remember what?
What color it is?
Was it red?
No, I think it's blue.
Okay.
At least that's what it's saying on the pictures.
I can't remember it. I'm serious. I'm sorry.
So just a couple facts. The rubber duck that's on the front of it used to be chrome, but because when they were videoing it, the reflection from the sun was too bright, so they had to actually sand it down and paint it silver so that it wouldn't do anything to the video equipment. So what they also did at that same time is they added a mohawk to the rubber duck, which I don't ever remember the rubber duck having a mohawk in the movie, but
it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah. And the other little bit of tidbit that I wanted to just mention is the trailer that he pulled was actually a tank trailer.
What's a tank triangle?
It's when my tongue just wants to twist everything up and just not get it right.
Okay.
So a tank trailer, but it actually was not a tanker. It was just like the top of it. So like if you looked underneath of it, it would just look like a
dry van?
No.
A tank?
No, like a half a tank.
Oh.
Because there was nothing when you look underneath, there was no bottom to it. So it was like like a...
So it was just
like a dome.
It wasn't an actual real tank, but they made it look like it.
Exactly.
So it was basically didn't have a bottom.
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It wasn't a completed tank truck, but of course, because it's Hollywood.
It was like it was cut in half and added wheels.
Yeah.
So this gentleman, he owns a small fleet. He actually has that truck that he uses for truck shows and so forth, and the original trailer. And he can show you where different parts of stuff, like in the pictures that Overdrive has online. It shows where he's showing where when cops were shooting at him, where those detonated bombs or whatever went off to show where the cops were shooting and stuff. So it was pretty interesting. I didn't know, like I said, that the rubber duck had a mohawk on it. You know, it's not like you really paid attention to the hood ornament.
Well, speaking of truck shows, we were invited to Mid-America again, and they are having it this year. We're not sure that we're going to be able to make it this year because of our schedule, but I wonder if he's there. He may be.
He might be. His name is Fox. Is his last name?
Yeah.
So Anthony Fox. He's out of Georgia,
and he owns the Rubber Ducks truck from Convoy.
Right.
Anthony Fox. Awesome. Good job. You got something else for you? You got something else for us, Ruth-Ann?
Yeah, I do. I have also the CVSA.
Okay.
Is having a human trafficking prevention program that they're putting out for this week. It's going to be in America from January 11th for this week to the 13th. So it's like 3 days only, 72 hours.
I think I caught a little bit of that. They're educating. Actually, law enforcement is getting educated on it, along with truckers.
Yes.
And they were saying, I think, like tour bus drivers, everybody that's really lives on the road.
Right.
They're trying to educate. You know, is there an online? I would love to go to do an online, little course myself, because what they do is they teach you how to recognize somebody that is in trouble, that's maybe giving you a signal. You know, there's a famous case in Virginia where a camper, there was a girl that was sex trafficking. They were sex trafficking her, I guess a family. And she had, at a truck stop, she actually had stuck her hand up in the back window because they had her locked in the bedroom. And she was trying to wave to people, wave them down. And some trucker had the sense. She was saved by a trucker. He had the sense to go, something's wrong. Something is wrong. And so he called the police. They broke into this camper, and here this girl literally was they were prostituting her, and she was like from halfway across the country, and I think she was underage too. And they rescued her, and I would imagine those parents or whatever are probably in jail right now.
It's you can definitely get some information. There's some information that they have. The amount of trafficking that happens, as many as 24.9 million men, women, and children are sold into prostitution, domestic servitude, or other forced labor around the globe. That's a lot of people. They actually came up with $150 billion is what they're generating on the suffering of other humans.
What's really funny is people don't realize how prevalent sex trafficking. And back in the days, in the 70s and 80s, they called it pimping. A lot of they would especially get a runaway, somebody that's in trouble, somebody that's got a family life that's, just got a low, what's the word?
Self-esteem.
Thank you very much. A self-esteem. And they just offer them a place to stay. They get them hooked on drugs. Then they pimp them out. Well, it's sex trafficking now. And they're taking kids very young, and some of them they're actually taken out of the country so they can never be seen again and being sold into different countries. So I don't think people realize how actually dangerous sex trafficking really is right now. It's
horrible. It is actually in every single state in the United States. It's in every province in Canada, and it's in every state in Mexico. So they're doing this 3-day program in January 11th through 13th in the United States. They're doing in Canada, it's February 22nd through the 24th. And in Mexico, it's from March 15th through the 17th, because all of North America is being hit so badly with it that, think about it. We have so many tourists, so many different people that just come over. They all thought, remember back in Aruba when the one woman went missing?
Holly.
And how much everybody was trying to find out what was going on with that. They thought, okay, it was in Aruba, it's off the country. They didn't think too much about it as far as being, because it was big tourists. But the United States and Mexico and Canada are also really big tourist areas. So we have a whole bunch of people coming in and out constantly out of our borders, that even though we have a lot of it watched it still gets through, especially on the highways. And that's where a lot of, like you said, that one girl was having this happen to her, and she was across the country, but she was still within the United States. So nobody thinks about it then. So what they're doing is the CVSA is having this program, and it's called the Human Trafficking Awareness Initiative. So it's HTAI is their abbreviation.
What are the dates for that again? January 11th, you said?
January 11th through 13th. So this week is the one through the United States.
Do you have a phone number or something that or an email?
Well, the website is cvsa.org.
cvsa.org.
Right.
If you're a trucking company, perhaps get involved.
Yeah.
If you're in the trucking industry, get your drivers involved. It's a great message to be putting out that you're trying to help, the trucking community be aware of some things that we need to take a stance on and fight for, because you never know whose kid is the next victim. And I hope it's nobody but get involed.
It happens so easily. Yeah. And then you have all these kids that all they're doing is being on the internet.
But who best, Ruth Ann, to be on the watch for this but truckers. Because truckers watch people go by them all day long.
So what this place, what they will do is show you different things, like, stuff to watch for, stuff to think. There's different signals that you might not realize are signals that someone's asking for help. So go to the website, cvsa.org, and
get involved.
Request some information. All you have to do is sign up. You could be a sponsor, everything. So go check it out. Moving on.
How about, Ruth Ann, we talk about Carter Lumber for a second?
Carter Lumber.
Yeah, what's interesting about Carter Lumber? We just had them on, I think a week or two ago, on as a guest, and we had an interview with them. And it's interesting how, I can't wrap my head around 166 locations, little terminals.
I know. There's so many of them.
So, if you're a driver that's looking for a local home everyday job, whether it's Class A or Class B, odds are you can get on with Carter Lumber. If you go to www.carterlumber.com/TalkCDL, that's all you got to know is really carterlumber.com/TalkCDL. It's like a little, maybe 5 seconds, you just leave your name and, your experience or whatever you got. It's like a quick couple questions, and it's submitted, and they call you and interview you and bring you in and hire you as a local driver. Call Carter Lumber today. Tell them Talk CDL sent you. Again, the address, not the phone number, is carterlumber.com/TalkCDL. Ruth Ann, what else you got? You got something else, or you want me to throw something in here?
Well, I can give an interesting fact also.
What's the fact?
Did you know that spider silk is stronger than steel?
Because of how small it is? Like if it was as thick as steel?
Despite being thinner it's thinner than human hair and lighter than cotton, it's still stronger than steel. According to the Science magazine, the insect trapping egg protecting material is a full 5 times stronger than steel of the same diameter. So if it's the same exact size, spider silk is still 5 times stronger.
I know this. They say that when you walk into a spider web, it's the best karate instructor in the world.
Do matrix moves.
Yeah. I'm serious. Do you remember the time we were four-wheeling and our buddy Mark, and we were four-wheeling, and nobody has ever seen a banana spider. They're like big. They're harmless. They don't bite that I know of, but they look like they could kill you. And he went through on his four-wheeler, and there was like a one probably half the size of my hand, and it went right in his face, and all you heard was... I laughed.
Over the four-wheeler, so you can imagine how loud he was.
Exactly, because his was a 2-stroke. So it was a 2-stroke motor, which is louder than a 4-stroke, and you could hear him whining like a little baby. And it was funny. Anyways, moving on. Ruth Ann, check this out. I want to read that article that I talked about before.
Okay.
Man admits to embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars from a trucking company after the owner died. Okay, it says a North Carolina man has pleaded guilty to charges related to the embezzlement of a large sum of money from his trucking company employer following the death of the company owner. Now, the really bottom line is this guy's the what you would call the CFO, the chief. He's probably the chief financial officer. So what he did was his name. I want to give his name out because I really want to give him that award. You know, he's facing 20 years in prison. All right. His name is Benjamin Padua. He's 56, pleaded guilty to wire fraud in court, according to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Western District of North Carolina. Authorities say that from September of 2019 to February of 21, it's like almost 2 years, Padua abused his senior finance position with his employer. They didn't identify the trucking company. Okay, you could probably look it up. He falsified documents and improper accounting entries to embezzle hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hey, you know what? Crime does not pay like you think it does, because when you get caught, you're the one paying. Mm-hmm. It's saying he's facing up to 20 years in prison. I would love to, this is all I really got to say about this guy. You know, I would, just for that moment, I would love to be the guard walking him in. And so I could just look at him and go, meet your new boyfriend, meet your new wife, you know, honestly, because you're going to be here for a long time. Get used to what is about to happen. I mean, honestly and truly, to me, it's like, okay, so you're going to take advantage of a guy that built up a trucking company, a family or whatever it was, right? Mm-hmm. And your talent is just stealing, taking things that weren't yours, right? And just honestly, that's why people don't trust people.
It's exactly why.
I mean, seriously.
It's one of those situations where you ruin it for the next guy.
You're damn right the next guy, they'll be watching him like a hawk. Yeah. It's like, you know, he went and invented, what he did was he invented these agreements that the owner supposedly gave him, right? When the owner's dead, can't really say, you know, defend anything. Mm-hmm. And like he increased his pay and all kinds of crazy stuff. And through all kind of things like insurance and stuff, and the guy received like a lot of money. It's like, dude, I mean, it's bad enough right now in the economy. There you are, 2019. When did COVID hit? Was it 19, or it was like at the end of 19, wasn't it?
The very, very end, beginning of 20.
Right. So this guy is in bad times, over there stealing away, and now guess what? You get to play with Bubba.
Oh, I wonder if he ever took advantage of the government handouts that they were giving people too.
You know he did. You know he did.
He has to get more trouble for that too.
You know he did.
Yeah, because 20 is when everything had to shut down.
Yeah.
So
moving on. Let's move on. That was just like a little dinky article, you know. In fact, you can go over to CDL Life and read the rest of that. Ruthann, how about your buddy?
J.J. Keller.
J.J. Keller.
Yes. The trucker secretary.
888-601-2017, the trucker secretary.
This is where you really want to contact them to make sure that you're doing all your paperwork properly. Beginning of the year, you make sure everything's filed right. You know, make sure everything you have together. Definitely want to do it.
And look, just a couple seconds more of J.J. Keller. You can't say enough about these people. It's very low cost. It's like having a staff on hand. Mm-hmm. Seriously, that's what
it is.
When you're a lease purchase guy, or you got maybe 2 or 3 trucks, you're officially in business. I know some trucking companies that have 10, 20 trucks, and they're trying to handle everything on their own. And they're literally, these guys are like burning themselves out. You need to put people, you know, in a position that can take care of the little things for you. And so you can concentrate on running your company.
Right.
So 888-601-2017, J.J. Keller, call the trucker secretary today. Ruthann, you got something else for me?
Why did the turkey cross the road?
Why?
To prove he wasn't chicken. Sorry.
Was that your joke of the day?
My joke.
Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Check this out.
My joke flopped with you. I mean, I'm giggling. I'm trying to keep my voice from not being like totally laughing. And I guess my joke flopped with you.
No, I mean, I get the joke. I'm reserving the laugh. And it was funny.
So later, out of the blue, when you laugh, I'm just going to have to.
Do you remember when Mork and Mindy, you remember them?
Yeah.
Robin Williams?
Yeah.
And when he would laugh, he'd go, R, 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 R. I'm going to do that from now on for you.
No.
R.
No.
All right.
No. FMCSA.
FMCSA, what about them?
They have a program.
Which is? Oh, the under 21 pilot.
Yes.
Talk to me. Do you want me to start that off, or you got some stuff?
Well, what would you like to do? Would you like me to start?
It doesn't matter. Listen to this. It says during the pilot program, okay, and this was something they were supposed to kick off a while ago. They're finally now trying to kick this off. And I know a lot of people are not liking it, and some people are liking it. I personally, you want the truth, I like it. I really do. It says during the pilot program, apprentices will complete 2 probationary periods during which they may operate in interstate commerce only under the supervision of an experienced driver in the passenger seat. Now, these are guys that are 18 to 20, Ruthann.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you're 17, you can go into the Army, and you can. I'll keep saying this till the day I die. When you're 17, you can go into the Army, and you can go out in the field and fight in a battle and die for your country. Okay, it's just as simple as that. If you can do that, I think. And here's the other thing. You know how many years you've been able to get your CDL at 18? It's called intrastate driving only. And we've talked about this before. If you're an 18-year-old kid, you can get it. You can get your license and you can drive. I can't think of his name. We had a kid on in Ohio or Illinois that he was 18 when he came on, and he was driving a long-nosed Pete, okay, for a company who was hauling cattle, staying in the state. You know, honestly, I drove when I was 17. I had my Class C permit at 17. I got the permit at 18. I was actually with my grandfather driving. And so I'm just telling you guys, it's not a bad program. They're making sure these guys, it says the first probationary period must include 120 hours minimum of on-duty time, of which at least 80 hours are drive time in the CMV. To complete this probationary period, the employer must determine competency in interstate, city traffic, rural 2-lane, and evening driving, safety awareness. Number 3, speed and space management. Number 4, lane control. Number 5, mirror scanning. That's important, mirror scanning.
Yeah, you taught me that.
Yeah, every so many seconds, you're supposed to be looking back and forth. Right and left turns and logging and complying with rules relating to hours of service. So really, my take is this. If you're a trucker at 18 and you're allowed to drive from border to border in Texas, but you can't cross the line, it makes it illegal. Ooh. I mean, honestly and truly, that's just ridiculous. This is a pilot program. I think it's going to last 3 years. Yeah. You got any more to add on that?
Well, there's the second one.
The second
probationary period has to be 280 hours of on-duty time with at least 160 of it driving. It must include training in backing and maneuvering in close quarters, pre-trip inspections, fueling procedures, weighing loads, weight distribution, sliding tandems, coupling and uncoupling, trip planning, truck routes, map reading, navigation, and permits. So they're covering all the rest of that part. After the completion of the secondary probation period, the apprentice may begin operating the CMV in interstate commerce unaccompanied by an experienced driver.
I'm all for it.
After reading what they're making them do,
a lot,
I felt as though, that's good, because the drivers that are on there now that are training with these younger yes. men and women to do this, they're going to be teaching them the proper way of doing them. So I think that's good, because heck, some of these drivers that are going to school and coming out aren't even using these procedures. So what better than to get them while they're young and starting out to make sure that they keep doing the proper way of doing it.
100% agree. And we had that interview with the school in Pasadena, California, a month or so ago. And quite frankly, I think that's a great program. If more schools would catch on to that and have, you got shop class, you got, mechanic class and all kind of classes in high school, VOAG, all that stuff. Why not have a trucking class, with a simulator, and get these guys, to the point where they have a future in trucking. The more we teach our younger people about trucking, the less we'll have as far as a shortage like we have been. I think, just be honest with you, Ruthann, I think the country, including all of us, I think we missed the boat years ago by putting trucking to this level of, a young guy can't handle it. Well, that's bullshit. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. I was driving trucks around my grandfather's yard and doing things as a kid, okay, being mentored. This is a mentorship. Mm-hmm. Okay, this really, these guys can do it. We treat, the problem is our adults right now, they go, every one of these kids are freaking entitled and they want to be coddled. Boo hoo hoo. You should be a real man like me. But then you don't want to give the guy a chance to be a trucker. You see, in one side of your breath, you say, these kids their parents are coddling them and they're like pussies today. But on the other side of your breath, you think trucking's too hard for a lot of guys are against this, what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And I think that you guys we're men, guys. These young guys can be toughened up and taught to do this. It's not that hard, okay? Mentally, physically, everything. I'm telling you, I believe in this program.
Like I said, after reading what else needs to be done, and the FMCSA has petitioned the White House to get what's called the ICR, which is called an information collection request regarding the program. So they're trying to get them to do an emergency approval of everything so they can get it going, because so many truck drivers don't want to go to work and they have kids that want to. So
that's awesome. For real. That is super awesome. Hey, before we move on to the next segment here, I want to give a shout out. We get a lot of emails and we get a lot of messages on Facebook, and we try to mention people. But we got a message from a Michaela, or is that how you pronounce her name? It's a female, Michaela, Michaela Hankins. Is that how you would pronounce that, Ruthann? Here it is right there. Is that at the top there? Is that Michaela? Michelle?
Michaela.
I'm thinking it's Michaela Hankins. She writes in and she said this. She said, "Hi, I just wanted to say I love the podcast. I started listening when the hospital I worked for gave the option of jab or unemployed, and I decided to looking into trucking. Thankfully, I was able to keep my job when they repealed that mandate, but I still like listening to the podcast. It makes me more aware when I'm driving my little car around 18-wheelers, and I feel like it's real world informative. Thanks for so much wonderfully entertaining podcasts, even to a non-trucker from a non-trucking family."
Thank you, Michaela.
How beautiful is that? It's like, we get a lot of people that are trucking, and I know we got a lot of people that are non-trucking, but it's nice to know that people are taking some of the advice and some of the interviews they hear on this show and going, you know what, I better watch myself around trucks. Mm-hmm. Brake checking or cutting them off or, tailing them and doing, just stay away from trucks if you're in a four-wheeler. That's my advice. What did Miyagi say? Be no there. Right?
We watched Cobra Kai last night.
Yeah, we watched Cobra Kai last night. He said, best defense, be no there. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Don't. So best defense around a tractor trailer, get away from them. That's your best defense. So thank you, Michaela Hankins, for really supporting the show and writing in and all that other good stuff. We love you. And we love we love all of the people that write in and listen to us. And personally, I just want to say this. I mean this sincerely. Over the years, I probably would have quit. We started this in 2015. I probably would have quit years ago because there's a lot of work into a podcast. I probably would have quit if it wasn't for people encouraging us. I'm serious. True. Dead serious.
They made us feel like it was something that was beneficial for them.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's great that people are getting something out of the podcast. So moving on to
Load Smart.
How about Load Smart, Ruthann? They are something else. They invented this break-even calculator called Camion, Kamion, and the Camion break-even calculator will. And guys and gals, you have no idea. Right now we're in good times for truckers that are owner operators. I can tell you right now, don't take advantage of that okay, without trying to cut corners.
You don't want to just lose your money.
Right. I mean, you guys could be making more, and this is a free calculator. All you do is plug your information into it, and it'll tell you where you need to, or if you're making money or if you're not where you should be. And that's just go to Camion, KAMION.IO/TalkCDL. That's Camion.IO/TalkCDL. It's a free download. Download this calculator and watch yourself. If you're into saving, if you're bringing home $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week, Camion might be able to add 10, 20, 30% to that. Mm-hmm. You don't know. That's a significant amount.
Right.
Okay. Moving on. Do you have something else? I mean, I have like one or two more little thingies.
I have my word.
Well, at least save your word. Okay. Charge. Yes, charge. What do we got here? There was one other thing I wanted to mention, Ruth Ann. Oh, this is really what I want to talk about today. Everybody being stuck on the interstates this week in frigid cold weather. There was cars that were running out of gas, abandoning their trucks and cars to try to find safety. And truckers were stepping up. I read articles where truckers were giving them their food. Hey, listen, here's some food. Here's a blanket. And kudos to those guys and gals that recognized somebody's window icing up and there mustn't be running. Sitting in a vehicle that's turned off is colder than on. And I was reading up on it, on the way they explain why. But inside that metal box, once that starts cooling down in a car or a truck, you're better off being outside. You really are, unless the elements are really, blowing hard or whatever the case is.
Right, where you have more of a wind chill going on.
Right, if you have a wind chill or freezing rain, yeah. But if not, if it's just outside clear, you're better off getting out and moving around because the inside of that vehicle can heat up. Now, if you have a candle, believe it or not, you can light a candle and it will start heating up the inside of your vehicle. A candle, just one little flame. So here's just some advice, for people that do get stuck. If you're a kind person, carry an extra blanket. And, if you're ever in a situation where somebody is stuck, give them a blanket. I'll tell you what I would do, because it's human life, Ruth Ann. Whether I was authorized to have a passenger or not, I would invite somebody into my warm truck. I really would. If there was
just sitting there,
absolutely there's a family there. I'm not going to let a family die because I don't have a rider pass with me. I'm sorry. I'm going to choose life.
Highway Angel it.
Amen. And I think if you called your company at that moment and said, listen, we've been sitting here for hours. I know I don't have a rider pass. There is a man and a woman with 3 little kids, and they are turning blue. I'm bringing them into my truck so they can warm up. We're not moving. I'm just letting you know. Can you send me a rider pass over the Qualcomm? I don't know.
If they're not moving, it's one thing. I mean, if you're driving down the road, that's a different story to get authorization. Like if it was an emergency situation, I don't see a company wanting to deny, something like that. But you're just sitting there. You're not going anywhere. You can't move.
Yeah. So hats off to everybody that was coming to each other's rescue there. And don't ever be afraid to do the right thing, guys and gals out there. I mean, you're in a dire situation. Believe it or not, I think they were stuck on 95. I think it was 95 they were stuck, not 81. I think it was 95.
95.
Yeah, they were stuck on 95 for 15 hours.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're like, for example, it's impossible. Like, say you're somebody that's poor, and you're in a car, right? And you don't have a full tank of gas. You have like less than a quarter. We've been there. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh man. I remember one time I woke up and you were driving, and I'm like, Ruth Ann, it's like it's down to 0 miles.
My light's been on.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though.
I think it was in Virginia too.
No, it was in Georgia. But anyways, the bottom line is, you've got people that run out of gas and they're going to panic, and you might have two exits to get to, and it's 2 miles, and it's freezing cold outside. You don't want to get out and walk. You're in your car. What do you do? Okay, I'm going to get out of my car now. It's broke down. They're just going to have to tow it, and that's going to cost me money. People just start irrationally thinking. If you're the person that's prepared, You can do the thinking for them.
Oh, yeah. That could have actually turned into really something horrible, because there are some people that can't handle that pressure.
Right.
And if you think about it, you're stuck on the side of the road. If you're a person that does get cold or you're hungry, I mean, I could bring a new meaning to the term hangry. I can tell you that, because I get really horrible when I am hangry.
Now, listen, I will say this. If you're a lady trucker or I'm just saying, I'm not advising women to invite people into their truck, because you never know what kind of situation can boil over. But definitely try to give out blankets and help out.
Well, if it's
another lady,
you just got to look at the situation. If it's a woman and her child,
that's
I'm
different.
sure the lady trucker will sit there and say, "Come on, get in and get warm."
Right, but if it's a bunch of men, you might wanna...
I think the ladies would definitely figure something else out to do, like with another, asking another driver to come sit with them. Even
you don't want to risk
things that can happen.
You don't want to risk your own safety, is what I'm getting at. But
right.
in these cases, everybody's stuck together. I mean, I think you're probably pretty safe inviting somebody in that's probably dying of freezing cold.
Right. You don't want to see something like that.
Okay. Hey, listen, real quick, I wanted to mention one other thing. I said at the beginning I was going to mention this, so I'll just kind of briefly mention this moving on here. Another report, impossible to find new semi-trucks right now. 2022, dealers are saying, we're sold out. Everything coming is already promised. If you're looking to try to buy a new truck, it's going to be impossible. I mean, I've had people calling and sending us messages about getting equipment. I'm like, you're not going to get equipment. It's just, you're not going to get it. And used vehicles are skyrocketed through the moon.
Ridiculous.
I told the story. I got a buddy that took a 2018. This was like 2 months ago. He took a 2018 579 Pete to the market. It had honestly and truly, I want to say 500,000 miles on it or something like that. It was up there. And it did 102,000 on the wholesale market. I mean, that's just sick. I mean, 2 years ago, it wouldn't have even brought 70. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there he is. Well, it might have brought 70, but it's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, higher, all because of what they call supply and demand. To me, I call that gouging. But the bottom line is, if you want it, you're going to pay me. Okay. Parts are hard to get also. If you get a truck right now, this is the other thing you got to take in consideration. If you go out and you buy yourself a new tractor trailer or a used truck, there's certain parts that could take 3 to 6 months to get that might not, like somebody's telling me a knock sensor, for example, right now is 3 to 6 months to get. If you're a guy, a one truck Chuck, and you get a truck, okay, and knock sensor goes out or whatever the case is, you might be screwed. You might have to bounce your truck if you're making payments on it because you can't even you can't drive it.
Right, you can't get the parts to drive.
But now let's say you're a trucking company with 400 or 500 trucks. Guess what? You can rob some of your trucks. Mm-hmm. You can keep trucks on hand just for parts.
Have one for parts, yeah.
Exactly. Well, more than one you're going to need, So it's, and here's the other thing. With these used trucks going through the roof, finance companies are asking, where's the safety in lending a truck, lending money for a truck with 600,000 miles on it? Okay, it's not a good deal for the finance company. See, they're not stupid, because what I believe is this: when the new trucks start flooding the market, when, finally, Lord willing, these trucks start coming onto the market, right? People are going to be going, well, I've got a used truck with 1 million miles on it. I'm paying the same as that brand new one I can go get. They're going to probably go try to buy the new one and then bounce the used one. And I guarantee that's going to happen a lot. Guaranteed it's going to happen a lot, because at that point, you're trying to keep a truck going that you can't. Well,
not only that, but the value of that truck that you just spent a lot of money to get because mm-hmm. of supply and demand is not going to have that same value then. I mean, the housing market had the same thing where all these houses, that house, 300,000. And then all of a sudden, that house is worth maybe 100,000 because all the other houses came up in the market. Things were better again. So use your mind on what you want to do. Don't just jump into any situation. Really think it through.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're planning on ruining your credit someday, because, I'm just saying, like I had a guy the other day tell me, he said, Troy, he said, it's worth it for me to go and pay double for a damn used truck because of what I can make right now. Well, okay, I get that. But in a year or two, supposedly next year, it's going to start getting better again, Lord willing. If it does, who's going to want to keep the truck that is always breaking down and really doesn't have much of a warranty left, or probably no warranty on some of these trucks?
Right. Some of them that's why I said you have to use your mind.
I'm actually amazed personally that finance companies and banks are actually lending on those trucks, on a lot of these used trucks.
Well, see, here also, a lot of the companies, the insurance companies, won't let them trucks come onto some of these fleets. So you really actually have to watch that also.
And just I hope I don't confuse anybody with this statement. Speaking of insurance companies, when we were just talking about the 18 to 20-year-old kids, there's going to be a lot of those kids can't get a job anyways because insurance companies won't insure them. They're going to have to be with the big companies because of being self-insured. That's all I could say there. But going back to this truck thing, it's a problem, guys, and we just got to keep getting through it. That's all we got to do is just take it one day at a time. If you're gonna get a truck, and just so you know this, and you're looking for a great deal, you might as well stop, okay? Because you ain't getting a great deal right now. Everybody knows what they have is golden. If you're selling a truck, you know what a guy told me yesterday? He said my buddy was gonna sell me his 389 Pete, right? He said because I went and I had. What did he have? He had a 389 or a 379. And he said, I forget what year it was, but he sold it for 60 grand, right? And I said, what year was it? And he told me, I said, yeah, you undersold that by about $30,000. He goes, yeah, I know, because the first day that I put it on the market, people they couldn't get to me fast enough to buy it. He said, and I was scratching my head going, boy, must be a good deal I'm giving him. Yeah, it was a damn good deal. And now this guy don't have a truck because his buddy realizes, well, if I sell my 389 right now for a lot of money, I got to go spend a lot of money for a truck I don't even know. Mm-hmm. So people are holding on to trucks, and the ones that they're selling out the yin-yang. So bottom line, guys, most likely you're going to spend a lot of money to get that used truck. You might as well get that mental ability or take a company job and wait it out till next year when the market starts getting more trucks in. And that's my story of the week, my podcast. Ruth Ann, I am finished here. You got your word of the day?
I do.
By Word Genius?
By Word Genius.
Press that button, girl.
Copacetic.
Copacetic.
You got to listen.
What's
to
that one word they go? Ishbialidos. What's that?
Superfalidcagilisticexpialidosis.
That just reminded me of that. Go ahead.
Okay. You got to hear how he says it.
I can't even say that word.
Copacetic.
He sounded like a valley dude.
I know. That's what I'm laughing at.
Copacetic.
Copacetic.
It's gnarly, dude.
So it is American, is the origin, and it is 20th century. So it is new.
Is it West Coast? It's what it sounds like.
It's slang. It's an adjective, but it is slang.
What's it for?
All is well.
Yeah, copacetic.
Fine or satisfactory. So
I wish it said where it came from. You said it's
America. Oh, well, it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, so that is it then, Ruth Ann.
Well, actually, copacetic is an informal slang word used to convey that everything is all right. It's closely associated with the 1960s surfer culture.
I told you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a surfer dude.
Picture the classic hand gesture of a thumb and pinky sticking out for a visual representation of the word. Despite its uncertain origins, it has been traced back as far as 1915.
Just the way he said that. Copacetic.
Copacetic.
All right, hey, we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.